with one of our offensive linemen, Ben Coleman. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. We'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Ferrato of Cal Sports Report. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Ben, nice to see you. How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right. Can you just talk about your sense of how well you think the offensive line is playing right now?
I think we're playing together, which is important. I think we have a lot to improve on as well. I think we've done a great job of pass protecting, but I think we have a lot of stuff we want to improve on in the run game, especially last week. And we just want to keep taking that next step every week.
How important has it been that you've sort of had some continuity? Obviously, you lost your veteran center in the preseason, but it's the same five guys that have been able to start every game so far.
Well, I think it's the next man up mentality. We've been able to rotate some guys in, which has been key, especially like Brian Driscoll. But I think us all gelling and molding as one has been really key for all of us, so that when a big time guy like Mike goes down, we have guys we all move around and we're able to plug and play and still have that same mold to be able to go out and perform together as one.
If I can ask you a follow-up, I know your dad played, I believe, 9 years in the league, started like 100 and something games in the NFL. What sort of advice and coaching or tips or anything does he provide you?
Well, it's definitely a lot of pressure, especially being an NFL kid. But especially the pressure from him, I've never felt it, especially growing up. He's always let me mold into the player I wanted to be. You guys know I played defense at first. He never pressured me to go back to O-line. I made that decision myself because I really wanted to fully embrace it. And so as soon as I fully embraced it, then he was really able to really help me and give tips. So we watched film together, and I think the big difference from high school and now is that now he's in more of a dad perspective rather than a coach perspective. So I think it's a really unique perspective, and I think he's done a really great job because I've never felt that pressure from him specifically of, I was a pro, so you need to be a pro. This is how you need to act. But he's been able to really just offer me great advice throughout the year, especially in my first year starting, especially through these first couple games.
And if there's no pressure coming from him, it sounds like you felt pressure from somewhere. Is that yourself or what?
Most definitely. I think I hold myself to a higher, especially accountability. And then I take responsibility as one, being his kid, and then just personally within myself. I mean, I think I'm my hardest critique, especially 4 games in. I know there's a lot that I need to improve on. So, we come back, especially it's a big Tuesday practice. We attack these days, and me personally, I try my best to really take every rep personal, in a sense that I have a lot to improve on. There's a lot of unfinished business that I need to complete.
So while you were growing up, if you had decided you wanted to be a chess player or a hockey player or a musician, your dad would have been okay with it?
Would have been 100% okay with it as long as I was doing something and giving my heart to it. Especially obviously in school, I had to stay in school, so there was no dropping out of school for any other occupation. But if I want to be a chess player, my dad would encourage me to be the best one ever.
And at what point did you say, no, I'm going to be a football guy?
I think he never had to tell me. I just always was, especially being younger before I could play, I was always trying to do video games, flag football, was a big basketball guy, loved basketball. But he never had to push me. I had to actually go tell him when I was ready to really take it serious. And it was really around that late middle school, high school range. And it's like, I really want to take training serious. I really want to take football serious. And he allowed me to come to him man to man to be like, I'm ready to take this thing serious and take it to the next level.
When you did that, what was his reaction?
His reaction was simple. Let's go. Let's do it.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, Trace, there's still probably a question or two left for you.
Oh, yeah, I have a couple. How are you feeling through 4 games now that you've been the full-time starter at left guard?
I feel good. Being home at left guard, especially just working with the same guys every week. I think that's been really key, especially once again, just saying working as one. Being able to work with Will Craig and being able to work with Matt Sendrick. It's just being able to get those repetitions so we have that chemistry. And the more we play, the more chemistry we gain.
Yeah. And physically, how do you feel after this kind of, you played some in the 4 games last year, but not to this extent?
Well, I think the greatest blessing that I can say is that no injuries. And that's the biggest blessing of all, is that we've all been able to come out with no injuries. So then we'll be ready to go next week.
Yeah, and you said it yourself, Brian Driscoll has been rotating in with you guys. How is it working with him? He'll come in for you. He'll come in for McCade. How is it having that rotation?
Well, Brian Driscoll is a guy. I mean, I don't think fatigue has been an issue for any of us, but being able to get those key reps for him, as we've all seen, he can come in there and he can compete at the same exact level as us. So there's no drop off there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Jim McGill from Bear Insider.
Hey, Ben, congrats on a successful transition to starting as a freshman. How tight are you guys as a unit and as a group? Do you hang out a lot together? Do you study film together outside?
I think that, as far as our relationship goes, I believe that it's key with O-line is that the key part is friendship. I think that's a really key part, especially, like I said, hanging out outside. And we did a lot of team bonding in the summer. We're back in school, schedules are hectic, but when we have 30 minutes, an hour before practice, we just sit around the locker rooms and we chat, we joke around. And then when it's time to get serious, we lock in together. And the biggest thing out of all of this football stuff is just to make sure that we're having fun with it all.
And how's your relationship like with Coach Angus? And do you feel like he's been able to get more out of you as an offensive lineman through various techniques and other things he's taught you?
Well, my relationship with Coach Angus is good. We're going into this second season now, so everything's being more routine. Nothing's new. So we're just focused on working together and being able to improve. The techniques that he implements, we work on those on a daily basis. So we just try to take what he says for us, and as far as his coaching, and then we implement that into our game to try to make it better for each and every one of us.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrano. Go ahead, Jeff.
So Ben, you said your dad never put any pressure on you, but what's the best advice he's given you that relates to football?
I just think it's just being confident in yourself. I think that's the biggest thing, especially at this next level. I think everybody has the physical capabilities. I just think that the big time thing is mental. So being able to have the confidence in yourself to go out there and compete at a high level, trusting your technique. And then just simple stuff is that, when I talk about mental again, is that playing with pad level, all that stuff is mental. Getting your hands inside, all that stuff is mental. There's a lot of physical aspects that football seems so physical, but in my opinion, I think a lot of it is more mental than physical. So the biggest thing is just being mentally sharp, because there's stuff. And then if I could say one thing for you, though, it would be just control the controllables. Control effort, control attitude, control finishing plays as a run blocker and as a pass blocker, and then controlling how you carry yourself in the facility and outside of the facility.
And you're obviously still a really young player with years to go, but do the two of you talk much about the NFL and a possible future for you there someday?
No, I mean, we just focus on today and what today brings. So the NFL has never really been a heavy conversation. Like I said, no pressure there, because it's all about being able to improve as much as I can right now. And then when it's time to have those conversations will come.
Thanks, Ben.
Anybody else with the final question? Give you a couple more seconds here to let me know in the chat.